It's a sad day in Thunderland. I'm Barry Trammell along with Thunder writer Darnell Mayberry. It's Sunday afternoon and James Harden is a Houston Rocket. The Thunder has shipped James to Houston. The contract negotiations broke down. And Darnell, where does the Thunder go from here?
Well, they got some pretty good assets in return. You start with a 20-point-per-game scorer, Kevin Martin. He was an all-star caliber player in Sacramento. And then they got the 12th overall pick in the draft, Jeremy Lamb, one of the most athletic players in this year's rookie class. So I think they got some pretty good assets. And then they got 2 potential first-round picks in this year's draft and a high second-round draft pick. So I think the Thunder's going to be in good shape going forward with the assets that they got.
Yeah, is the Thunder the championship contender it was with James Harden? Will they remain that level of squad?
Well, I still think they're one of the best teams in the West. I mean, you have to think that they took a small step back because of Harden's playmaking ability. Kevin Martin is not the same player. A great scorer, a great shooter, and highly efficient, but he's just not the setup man that Harden is. He can't do the same things with the ball in his hands. But I wouldn't rule out Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook and the growth and emergence of Serge Ibaka. Those 3 guys are going to do big things this season, and I think they're only 23 and 24 years old. They're going to have bright futures, and if you say that they're not a title contender, I think that's just counting out Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook.
Was this case just of not being able to get together on the money? James Harden wanted a virtual max contract. Thunder was not willing to give it.
That's exactly what it was. I mean, and we saw this with Jeff Green. It was the same thing 3 years ago. Jeff Green wanted more money than the Thunder was willing to offer, and, it ended up that he got shipped to Boston. Harden got traded to Houston. Sometimes it happens like this, and I think Sam Presti said it best at his preseason media availability when he said the day that he stops doing the best thing in the best interest of the organization, and that's the day they need to go get someone else. And I think he did the best thing in the organization, because $60 million for the 3rd best player on this team would have been an awful lot of money for James Harden.
Well, here's what the man himself, Sam Presti, had to say.
I value my relationship with James, and I do with all the players that we have here, because once they walk in the door to the Thunder, they're going to leave an imprint on the fabric of the program one way or the other. And it's been a great thing, I think, for us to have watched James grow as a player and as a professional. And it was a difficult situation, obviously, at the end of the day, to come to the reality that it probably wasn't going to work out, and we weren't going to be able to meet his expectations. But it doesn't change how we feel about James Harden. We wish him the best, and the relationships that he has here will continue on. But once that was established, we had to do the best thing for the organization. In response to your question about were we able to talk to him, James and I have had several conversations, over the years about things other than basketball. So I enjoy a pretty good relationship with him, and we did talk in Wichita, which was an important conversation to have. The details of that conversation have to remain between us. I hope you guys can respect that. But James was the first draft pick in the history of this franchise, and a guy that we have an immense amount of respect for. At the same time, you have to do the right thing for the program, but we always want to be transparent and upfront with the players, make sure they understand where we are with things, and we also want to listen to them. And I feel like I wanted to provide a forum for that, and also share some things with James about how I felt about him, how we felt about him. And I feel that was an important conversation, given the way that ultimately the direction of things ended up. But for us as an organization, we wish him the best. He's been an important part to our success, and by no means do we begrudge the situation.